Hey guys, Tiaz here with freebelleddanceclasses.com. So I got a question lately that was about belly dance teachers asking how much we should charge for classes. It's such a tricky question, and I really don't think there is like one right or wrong answer to it, because it really depends, first of all, on where you're at in the world, where you're at in your country, like even within your own country, like where you're at, like which, is it a city, is it a village, is it a country, town, is it a small town, is it a big town? It really depends on a lot of that stuff. And then also, it depends on what it is that you're providing. Are you providing this as a workout? Are you providing this as a dance class? And are you providing this as a workshop? So there's a lot of other factors, of course, that are involved there. So make sure you consider those, of course. So now let's talk about that a little bit. I have done everything. Like, honestly, I've done from like regular classes to I had classes inside of a gym. That's a whole different story. I had classes in my own studio. I had classes in other people's studios. I had workshops. I had traveling workshops. I had workshops in my own town. So it all is different. So make sure you, first of all, kind of consider that a little bit. Now let's talk about that a little bit more in detail. Let's see if I can hold this phone for too long. I've been recording just on my iPhone really quickly. So first thing is, are you going to be, are you asking for workshops? Let's talk about workshops. Get the workshops out of the window. We'll talk about regular classes because there's a lot more to say in regular classes. So workshops. Workshops you can either do them where you're at. So let's say you're already a regular teacher. You're like in your city, and you decide you're going to do a workshop. And then workshops could also be traveling workshops, okay? And that's a whole different story. So let's talk about workshops in your own town. So you're somebody who already does classes regularly in your own city, and then all of a sudden you said, you know what? This whole thing, I could like totally see doing like a 2-3 hour emphasis just on this aspect, and then, you know, moving on. We'll just think about it, work on it, really drill on it, and that kind of stuff. So let's just say that's the way you want to do it. Totally fine. I think it's great. A lot of times I think it's a great way to like approach a lot of different topics, especially specialized things that like maybe other people are not interested in. Like, I just want to work on veil for a little bit when I don't really like veil. Okay, you don't have to take the class about veil, but let me get all the students that are interested in veil and then talk about that. So if you want to do that, then I would say charge according to what you charge for a regular class. So let's say, for example, you're the kind of teacher that charges $10 an hour for a class. If your workshops are 2 hours, charge $20, okay? If you're giving away something special, like you're giving away a CD or giving away a belly dance belt or whatever, maybe add a little $5. So you can charge between $20 to $25 for a workshop that is about 2 hours, depending on what you're going to be giving away or not giving away at all during that workshop. So that's one thing to consider. If you are a traveling teacher doing a workshop, I would charge more because there's traveling expenses, of course, involved. Come on now. I know most people don't like to even think about that or consider it like important, but come on now, we have to consider that. So that's something to add a little bit of traveling expense, whatever it is to you that is hard one to define. I'm not going to define it for you. For some people, that's just like, oh, well, I'm just traveling to the next city, you know. For some people, oh, I'm going across country. For some people, hey, I just happen to be there already. I'm just doing a trip, and then I'm going to do a workshop while I'm at it. Whatever it is to you, do it. Charge appropriately for it. And I'm not going to tell you what that would be. Just charge appropriately for it, okay? So that's about workshops. About classes. There's different ways you can do classes. You can teach, as I said, your classes in your own studio, in which case you have to consider lots more expenses, of course, you know, because you gotta rent the space, you gotta pay electricity, you gotta pay power, you gotta pay power, electricity, the same thing. What's wrong with me? You gotta pay water, you gotta pay, I mean, just lots of things add up when you have your own studio. And trust me, I did, and it's not a fun thing. So I would never personally go back to that. But if that gives you the freedom, you love it, you love your space, that's important, you have enough audience, then do it. If you are renting someone else's studio, it's a different story because you're only paying a certain hourly wage, and you have to consider that into your expenses. So of course, if your students are paying you $10 an hour, you're paying $15 per hour to rent a place, you have 10 people, it's still kind of worth it. If not, please either charge more, which, trust me, never a good idea, or find a place that is cheaper. So if you have a small class, you still want to keep the class, you can't afford it based on the rent, charge less, charge more for your class, or rent a space that charges you less. So find what's important to you and what could work for you, because sometimes some things don't work best for us and some things will do. So just decide what that is. Let's talk about what if you are teaching classes at a gym. That's another thing. I personally do not like teaching classes at a gym. I have done that in the past. It's been fun, but it's just never been good. You know, it's been fun. It really is. And it really always been fun because of the students. I loved the students I've always gotten. I mean, beautiful people. Like some of my favorite people were the ones I met in gym classes. But it's the way gyms these days think, not just about dance, but about fitness in general and about you as a teacher in particular. So it's just like so many things. It's like, first of all, they think, oh, it's just belly dancing, we don't have to pay much. Second thing, they think, oh, well, you know, belly dance is not really fitness. You know, how do we justify that? And then third thing, they think, well, you're just kind of a side girl who has another job, so let's use you and abuse you. So it's not cool. You know, it's not cool. I really, as a dancer in general, I don't care whether you're a belly dance teacher or not, as a dance teacher in general, I would always avoid the gym route because gyms are just so corrupted. And I don't mean that by like obviously any financial sense, it's just the way they think about fitness and body and women. It's just like they use the fact that there's so many women who are either fat and trying to lose weight, or obsessed with their bodies, or like themselves, whatever, to make a buck. Not kidding you. They really do. And it's just a pathetic charade to be part of as any woman. I don't want to be part of that. I love the art of belly dancing. I would do it whether I was at 400 pounds or 60 pounds. I don't care. I would do it. Okay? So I would do it on my own terms, and I want to do it on my own terms, and I want to be respected as a human being, as a woman, as a dancer, as a dance instructor, as everything you can possibly think about. I want to be respected in that sense. You don't get that very often in gyms. So, at this side, one of my favorite gyms that I've ever taught at was the YMCA, which is, as you guys all know, is most open-minded as far as acceptance of bodies and, I mean, anything. Really. I mean, they obviously try to make sure they get their expenses covered and make a lot of bucks to justify spending money for other things. So it's totally understandable. But it still is a place that is way better than any other gym, and they're very open-minded, and they're really all about people, and I love that about them. So it's great, and I love teaching for them because of that aspect. I wasn't judged. I was given freedom. I was allowed to do what I want as long as it gave other people a fantastic workout, and you know, they had a great time, which all my students did, and I did as well because they were wonderful, you know, diverse, extremely diverse group of people. So I love that about that aspect. So if you love that, you know, find those gyms. If you don't, move on. Don't teach at gyms. Teach at dance studios. It's 10 times better for you. Anyways, so I'll stop right here. That's my little bit of advice for you guys. If you have any other comments, any other ideas, make sure you post them in the comment section below. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, because it's just wonderful. I love my people. And I'll see you guys in the next video on freeballedanceclasses.com. Mwah! Kisses and hugs from my living room. This is my living room. Cheers. Bye.